Hi, Nettie. How are you? Welcome today.
Thank you. How are you, Kevin?
I'm doing so fantastic. I'm so happy to have the opportunity to talk to you. I want to introduce you to our future audience of viewers. I'm so happy to have the opportunity to spend some time with singer-songwriter Nettie. Nettie's
Thank you.
currently promoting her single "Made to Be," which is quickly becoming a anti-bullying anthem for kids and adults from every walk of life. Thanks so much for just taking the time to talk today.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
It's my pleasure. I'm just looking to dig in about the song and learn all about your career and all the great things that are in store for you here. It's just a very exciting time for you.
I
So,
appreciate that.
I want to go back a little further though, for this, just to kind of get the start on this music career, how this all started. As you look back at your years as a preteen or as a teenager, can you pinpoint a specific time when you were like, when music really began to play an important role in your life?
Yeah, I think just early on as a kid, a young kid, my dad would always play music throughout the house, and my parents were divorced when I was 8 years old. But whenever we'd visit my dad, he would just always be playing music of all different genres. He's just a huge music lover, and that had an impact on me. And just really feeling a deep connection with music since I was a kid was something that really sparked my interest.
Any specific musicians that you grew up hearing that were always on the radio or the record player, the CD player?
Yeah, for sure. So um there's kind of a variety. One of the first memories I have was of my uncle's pop band. He was in a Spanish duo pop band, and they were actually signed with Sony. Their group name was Matriculados. So I am Hispanic. I'm half Mexican, half Cuban. So my uncle from my dad's side was one of the lead singers in his group, and that was one of the first memories I have, just listening to his music, going and seeing him film his music videos and trying to impersonate him. Me and my brother would pretend to be our uncle all the time, performing on stage. And then to fast forward just a couple years, I started getting introduced to like different artists like Sheryl Crow when I was little, and my childhood best friend, I remember her and her dad would play Sheryl Crow all the time, and U2. I didn't listen to U2 a whole lot, but I remember riding in my best friend's car with her and her dad, and he was definitely a huge U2 fan. So those are just a few people
Yeah.
you can think of.
How could you not be inspired by your uncle, right? To be he
Yeah,
had a recording career, he's on the stage, he's on a major label, and how could you
yeah.
not be inspired by that and want to model your life after some of that when you see the success and the enjoyment that I'm sure he had on the stage?
Definitely. Yeah.
So, um, so when was it that you realized that by putting, your thoughts on paper or by just playing an instrument or singing along, that was going to help you in your life, that taking thoughts in your head and putting them into song? When did that kind of evolve?
Um, I didn't really realize like that it would like necessarily make a difference or have like any kind of impact until I would say I started playing my songs out in like open mics and stuff. And
Yeah.
that's around the time I took voice lessons and I learned how to sing. And then I began songwriting at that age too. I was 21. And so I think when I released my EP when I was in 2018, Through the Fire, and those songs specifically, I had gotten a lot of people that would share how it encouraged them or impacted them positively. And so I think, just when I started releasing music, really being able to see the impact that it made was one of the first times.
And I just as I learn about your career and the songs that you're promoting right now and your vision to help people, it has to be so neat when you realize that you're helping yourself and you're helping other people at the same time. It's therapy for yourself to put the pen to paper, but also when people tell you life-changing stories about how one of your songs or how your lyrics or your melody, just that happiness of a melody and the
Mhm.
words that went with it, inspired. That has to be amazing, just like almost like an out of body experience, I would think. Just like
Yeah, it really is amazing. And that's so true. Like you said, like it's very healing for the writer, and it's it can be healing for the listener, which is so rewarding. It's almost like, okay, my pain is used for a greater purpose. And it's been very rewarding. I can think of probably one of the first times when I shared Made to Be before it was actually finished. It was I still had a lot of production work that needed to be done to it, but I still played it out on tour, and at a few places. And this grandmother came up to me with her little grandson. I want to say he was maybe 7 years old or so. And she had just said, "Hey, thank you for singing that song. Like my grandson gets bullied at school because he has a little rat tail, and he came home crying and he wanted to chop it off, and he has like a stuttering problem and he gets made fun of." And so it really just furthered my passion to encourage people, just to be who they were made to be, and to really be an advocate against bullying. So it's very rewarding for sure.
I can only imagine. I just can only imagine. Can you tell us a little bit about the single, about this song, and the faithful journey it's taken you on? That's one perfect example of the journey it's taken you on, but how it came to be, and where it's taken you since then.
Yeah. Well, so I wrote the song when I was working at this restaurant in California, and I had been working at this restaurant for a few years. I had been wanting to get out of the restaurant that I was at, but I didn't feel like it was quite the time. And I was supporting myself. So I really needed to just kind of stick it through. So I was being really like outcasted by my managers, and they had done the same thing to some of my other coworkers as well. So it wasn't the only one, but they just kept picking on me and would not allow me to move up in the company just for no legit reason. And I had sat down and talked to a manager, and I had said to him, I feel like I'm being discriminated against, to be quite honest. And he could never give me an answer. And I remember looking at him in the eyes, and I remember just he just would just say one lie after the other. He would just give me the runaround, and it really affected me because I gave my whole heart, and I wanted to be a great worker. And even though serving at the restaurant wasn't my passion, I still wanted to do a great job while I pursued my passion. And so that's actually when I wrote one of the lines in Made to Be. I say, they look me in the eye. I look them in the eyes as they tell me their lies. And I'm losing strength. Oh God, please tell me why. They run around telling people that they hate me, because my manager would go up to my coworkers. I was told about this by someone else that worked at the restaurant. And he would say, "Oh, are you guys going to NEDY's show?" Because I invited them. And they said, "Yeah, we're going to go." And he said, "Why? Like, why are you going to our show?" So just really he caused division. And so I didn't know it at the time, but that season that I went through of just so much hatred and discouragement day in and day out, I'd go to work and just face that. I didn't know that it would be used to encourage so many people to just be who they were made to be. Because when you think about it, when I thought about it, I wasn't actually being picked on for any legit reason. I was just being myself. I wasn't a part of the clique. I wasn't really, I don't really like suck up to people. I treat people with kindness, but I just keep it real, and I had a smile on my face. And I believe that they didn't really like that I was my own person. And so that's kind of what I was realizing when I was writing Made to Be, that I can't change who I was made to be. And if you don't like that, then I'm sorry, but this is who I am. And I just never really imagined what it would, the great things that it would bring about, through all those times that I was going through that discouragement. There has been that light at the end of the tunnel, as I guess you could call it.
Yeah, I mean, it's really something how something that can be a negative thing can be turned around, and how something that's bad or negative, you've turned it around, and you realize that it was made to be. In a sense, it was made to be, that you were going, not just that this was meant to happen. And boy, I mean, it's just the kind of thing that I was trying to think about a couple of things I wanted to say to you when we talked today. And one of the things is you bring up joy in some of the things that you write about past interviews, you bring up the word joy and other people seeing your joy. I think sometimes the people who try to smother that joy, they don't have it themselves. And therefore they're almost jealous and they want what you have. And the only way that they know how to get it, to show their frustration is to take it out on someone who has joy.
I totally agree. That saying, misery loves company, is the same for a reason, you know. I totally agree with that, Kevin. And I don't think I could have said it any better myself. And so
Thank you.
totally.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to share with our future viewers the encouraging words that you share with that little girl as she sits there on the bench. Do you mind if I share these?
No, I don't mind at all. Thank you.
So when you have to see the video, to my viewers, you have to see this video to understand. But this poor girl is in the video is portrayed as being bullied in school, and she runs out to a playground, to a park, where she encounters NEDY, and NEDY tells her, it doesn't matter what anyone says about you. It just matters what God says. You are special and unique, created with a special plan and purpose, and your value never changes. And it gives me a chill as I say it. It gives me a chill. It really does. And I could picture that girl's face. And even though it was a video put together to explain that and show it, I felt like I was right in that moment, and I felt the compassion for that girl and for you, because you were able to say it because you had gone through it too.
Right. Thank you so much. Yeah. Well, I don't even know where to start, honestly. So thank you for sharing that. Like I said, I don't know where to start. Well, Ellie, the little girl in the video,
yeah.
she is amazing. And I think it was just very real between us. We definitely had a connection, and for some reason, whenever I meet kids on tour or wherever, we just have a connection. I really relate a lot to kids, and I feel like I can be myself sometimes more so. And so I think there was definitely a connection between us. So it was very real. It was very real. And I think she was listening. And so those words specifically, I was praying about what I should say in that part of the song when I was in the studio. And I just want to be the artist and the person that I was made to be. I want to be the artist and person that God created me to be. And I believe that He gives each and every one of us gifts and talents, and He wants to use each and every one of us for a great purpose for Himself. And so I was like, God, I want to be who You want me to be, God. Can You please give me the words? What am I supposed to say here? Literally, I said that to Him. And so He gave me those words, and I just want to, be authentic, because I think when we are ourselves, when we are true to ourselves, I think that's when we can reach the most amount of people. And not even just, it's not about numbers, it's about just really, it's quality over quantity.
If you were able to change the path of one person's life in a positive way, which you've done 10 times over, thousands of times over, and you will continue to do with your message,
yes,
then you've done your due diligence on this earth. You've done what God's wanted you to do. But if you change one person's life and multiply out the math, that's the bonus. That's the icing on the cake. But one person, one person,
I agree. It's worth it.
So it's funny. Just the other day, when I was preparing to talk with you, I played the video for my 10-year-old son. And I didn't say anything. I didn't say, because there's times when I'll ask him, how are things at school? How are things at school? How are you doing? Do you get along with everybody? Are the kids nice? And I don't know if I'll ever get the truth or not. I worry because I never told my parents the truth, which was that I was definitely, there's no doubt I was bullied in school. And so I asked him, because he's not going to come. I didn't tell my parents. I didn't make a big deal of it. But I just played the video. I said, you gotta check out this music. You gotta check this out. I just put it on and just let him just listen and watch, and just to see if he would say anything to me. But I think if even a silent message, I never said anything to him. I never said, what do you think about those words? I just played the music, played the tune, the upbeat song, and he was just watching. And I just hope that if there ever was a point in his life when he felt any discouragement because of other kids, that he took that and just ran with it. So that's what I mean. We never know who we're helping.
Yeah, exactly. That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. I definitely know what rejection feels like with bullying, but also just in life with relationships, with my childhood. I felt rejection from my dad at a young age after my parents' divorce. He, got remarried and had 2 more kids. And I just felt rejection at a deep, deep level at a very young age. And
Right.
that was kind of a reoccurring, it has been kind of a reoccurring theme in my life, which is kind of hard, but it does become worth it. And it's kind of incredible to think that it could ever become worth it. When you are able to reach other people and have compassion and comfort others with the same comfort that you've been comforted. So
Yeah.
so yeah, thank you for sharing that with your son. And I hope that it did make a difference, planted a little seed or watered a little seed. I hope that he believes it. Because I did want to make that very personal. I do want to make it very personal in my music and made to be specifically in that speaking part. That's why I say you, because it literally it's every single person in the world that I'm speaking to. It's applicable and true for each and every one of us.
And the words, and like you said, you prayed on it and you looked for those words to say, and it's almost like time could have stopped for a moment while your voice came out and said what you said. You can picture like a spinning Mary, the spinning in the playground, the little spin wheel.
Oh yeah.
You can just picture slow motion and just the words, they were well thought out and divinely, as you would say, divinely given. And boy, I just think amazing things will come out of it for many, many, many years to come. And then all the rest of the music this is just the beginning. The rest of the songs that some songs will have that message right on top, right surface, you'll see it. And other songs will be a little more, you'll be having fun with your music, but always intertwined in that is the true care that you have for yourself, for your own mental health, and then to share the mental health that you've been given with other people.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I feel like that message of value is so applicable, even with with bullying, it's so applicable and so important because we place a lot of power on what other people say about us, whether what they say is good or bad. We'll identify with what they say, and it's understandable as human beings.
Right.
We each need encouragement, and words affect people so much. But then, even put bullying aside, our value is such a big thing, with rejection, in relationships. I was engaged before, and he ended up being with another girl and leaving me for another girl. And I felt bad about myself. And I felt like I wasn't good enough. Or what does she have that I don't?
Right.
And then when I started putting too much importance in what they thought about me, what he thought about me, and not as much importance or the most importance in what God says about me, I'm like, wait, God's opinion of me doesn't change. My value doesn't change. I'm still his creation. I'm still his daughter.
Right.
So I need to really focus and hold true to that. And that's not going to change and not get caught up in people's changing opinions, So I think value, really, when we understand our value with bullying or rejection or loneliness or hopelessness, I think it can be very powerful.
Yeah, it sure can value, and that's you say, and your value never changes. You're one of God's creations, and that's if you think about, I want to we broadened it from bullying to value to all these different. There's just so many levels. Rejection, like you said, it's not just about one. There's so many different levels of this, and it's like, if adults, we're talking about the network that you've built. We're going to talk about that in a second. I want to ask you about that. And you think about, if adults struggle to find the tools, if bullying happens and value rejection, all the different things happen to adults, kids, how do they don't have the tools that we sometimes gain through life experience. So something that we as adults can start to talk ourselves off the ledge about, they don't have the tools. A relationship gone wrong and friends making fun of them that the relationship has gone wrong, or
Right.
just value things or bullying, whatever it is. It seems like I'm a teacher in part of my world, and I tell my students, because they will say things, I'm a music teacher, and they will occasionally say things about school, and I'll say, a couple years from now, you never have to see those people again. If you choose not to, they could be your friends if you want them to be, but you get yourself through school, and those people are not in your world forever. Let them
Right.
go their own way, and you go your own. But when they're in the moment as a child, and it happens as adults too.
Yep. It's so true. It's just temporary. It's just a season.
Right. Talk a little bit about the Friends Forever Club.
Yeah, so that's my anti-bullying nonprofit I started this year, and we became a 501c3. For those of you who may not know what that means, basically we're tax exempt. If you donate to us, you can write it off in your taxes. We're like legally legit nonprofit. So all of the donations go straight into the nonprofit, and we're able to go to schools and churches and venues, anywhere. We go to detention centers, we go to hair salons, and we communicate the effects of bullying. And we also bring the message of hope and purpose and value. It's been a huge passion of mine that I never knew that I had, or that I never even thought of to start a nonprofit.
Right.
But that's how God is. So here we are.
That's great. That's great. And as I read the literature about it, and I went to Instagram to see some of the photos and quotes and pictures and encouraging things, that it is for kids and adults. That
Yes, exactly.
Adults go through bullying too. Adults go through these same stages of life that kids go through.
Exactly. Yeah, we target the youth, but at the same time, because bullying does still go into adulthood, and I experienced bullying as a kid, but also as an adult. Yeah, it's just so important to speak to the adults as well, and even the adults who have maybe their kids, who may be watching or who may be around. It's so important because kids learn so much from their parents, obviously, and from adults in their lives. A lot of times when a kid is being a bully, they're learning it. They're learning it from home, or they're learning it from an adult, or they're trying to express their pain. And hurt people is a very popular, very true statement saying. So yeah, we just want to be a friend, and that's why Friends Forever Club, In With the Outcasts, is our slogan. So we just want to build that community and keep that community going, and we have more plans in the works and stuff to have that community growing and building and reaching the world.
And if I remember correctly, I think you have about 25,000 people following that already, right?
2,500.
2,500.
Yeah, but one day though.
So it's growing and growing. It's growing. Add a couple zeros and you got it. But that's still it's an amazing number. 2,500 people that you start at one. And
yeah, yeah, thank you. Exactly. And like you said, it's really, we want to focus on I joke around like one day, but I have had dreams and visions of reaching the world. So I'm always like thinking of that. But at the same time, like it's so worth it to even reach one person. So yeah, we have our Instagram and on Facebook as well. And we have our website.
Right. You had spent some time on the Extreme Tour, and I wasn't familiar exactly with the Extreme Tour until I did some reading to understand, but people from all different walks of life in the entertainment industry would go on that tour. And did you pull some inspiration on that tour to go out and take this even to the next step? Did that help you on the journey?
That's a great question. And I love that you really did some digging. So that's cool. Thank you. I'd like to thank Ted Bruin, who's the founder of the Extreme Tour, and he made a huge impact on me when I first heard one of his podcasts that he kind of sends it out when you're getting ready to go to the Objective, which is an annual music conference where you learn about the Extreme Tour. And he shares his heart, and he has speakers and like really well-known musicians and just in the industry, just people in the industry, even if they're not musicians, he has them speak. and all that. But he had spoken a significant amount of his like podcasts that he had sent out, one preparing for the objective, and talked about how we have a calling and how you feel it inside. And specifically with music, he was talking about, like, that God is calling you to do this, and that he's made you like with a purpose, and this is your calling, and it deep inside. And he just like, it just like really resonated and impacted me and inspired me so much. And I just I have to give him credit and a shout out. Like, that made such a huge impact in my life. And going on the extreme tour as well, just being on the road. I was on the extreme tour in 2018 and 2019. And the first year that I was on was for a full month. And then the second year was for 4 months. And it's not like a very luxurious tour, but as an independent artist, most of the time it's not that, glamorous. But it was amazing, and it made me be able to perform anywhere, really. The places that we've gone to were like, we've done food banks, we've done like parks. I've performed like on just like a bunch of woodchucks in a playground. Yeah, so maybe like, a little bit more versatile in that. And then also just like the heart behind it. Like, it really is missions work, and we're thinking of others, and we're finding people that we can love on, because there's so many people in the world that need the love of God, and they need the hope that Jesus brings. And so and maybe they don't know it. Maybe they don't know that's what they need, or they don't know how to put it into words. So we would just go out into the community, and we would just begin a friendship with people randomly on the street. Like, we would sit down and talk to them, and we would demonstrate the love of God before declaring it. We would love them with our actions. We would listen to them. And that is like, just Ted, like, right on. Like, that made a huge impact in my life. Like, that is so, I love that so much, because people need to know that you care. There's a really great quote, and I'm kind of blanking on it. It's, nobody cares what you know until they know that you care. And that's a Coffee Anderson quote in one of his songs. I forget the name of the song, I'm blanking out, but that's a lyric. And I think it's so true.
Yeah. And sometimes it's tricky too, because sometimes people aren't ready for a direct message from God. And like you said, first you sit down, you just talk with them, and you just show your love. You're not preaching to them necessarily. You're not trying to convert them, but you're just trying to share the love that you've been given by God. And then you hope that it will evolve into, well, this is why I have the joy that you're seeing from me emits joy because of my gift from the maker. Like, maybe if that's a way to say it, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's important for us not to try to be like business salesmen, or like, I'm not loving you for a means to an end. Like, if all that's taken from this conversation is like nothing, then I still want to be genuine, and like, I'm loving the person, just nothing in return. And you don't have to do anything, you don't have to believe anything. I'm loving you because you have just innate human value, just by being a human being. And so that's something that I think is super important as well.
Right. I'm going to take a step into your music quickly here and just ask you, is there any one singer or any one group that you would love to share a stage with someday, or to write with if given the opportunity? Is there someone out there? And it could be in the world of pop, it could be in the world of whatever it is, whatever. I'm just curious if there's someone out there in a certain place in the music industry that you would just give anything to sit down and write with or share a stage with.
I would say maybe Justin Timberlake or Alanis Morissette.
Oh, okay. Great. Yeah, that's great. Yeah. Cool. Both of them. Alanis for sure has such a inspiration for women, with she's strong, and she's I think
definitely.
Avril Lavigne at some point was someone that in your time that growing up, or someone that made an impact on you, because she's got that tough message too. It just
She does. I definitely listened to a lot of Avril Lavigne when I was a kid, and Alanis Morissette was a huge influence for me as well. But yeah, they're just super talented. Like Alanis Morissette, I met her, the engineer who worked on Jagged Little Pill, and he said that she would just lay down her tracks just like with one take, like on each track. And I was just like, that's nuts. Like I have to do multiple takes, and
Right.
she's so talented and so um herself. She's so unique. And that's what makes her shine is she's just being herself.
Right. Right. Um, if you'll just give me one moment, I want to share something with you
Yeah,
about
please do.
Alanis.
Definitely.
I I will just share this. I'm right here. I actually used to work with the record label that Alanis was on, and so this was a picture she came in and signed.
Oh, wow.
So it was interesting just because of the fact we worked in I'm in Chicago, and we worked in a big building that was just, it was behind a Target store. You would never guess it was a record label. And just
Right.
all of a sudden one day I'm at work doing paperwork and Alanis Morissette comes walking in,
Amazing.
like, and it was on the supposed, what's supposed former infatuated junkie, I think it's called. I think that's the name of the album. One of her
Oh,
albums. I think it was like the follow-up to the big one, to the big album.
okay,
Jagged
gotcha.
Little Pill. And she just came in and she just sat in a conference room for about 20 of us and just thanked us for selling her music. And she couldn't be nicer. And it was just a surprise visit on a Monday doing paperwork and and there's Alanis Morissette. So I wanted to share with you a plaque that we had from the branch, but I don't want to be off camera for 25 seconds. So I pulled that. It was around the corner here.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, I met her one time too.
Did you? Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. It was a long time ago. I haven't talked about this like publicly, but my uncle was working at the airport in LA, LAX, and he would pick her up all the time. Like he would escort her. That was his job, to escort like celebrities or just really rich people. And from like the airplane to their car or vice versa. And he would always tell me, guess who I'm picking up today? He knew I was a huge fan. And I said, let me guess, Alanis Morissette. So long story short, this has been so long, so I can say this now, but I had like begged him, like, please let me meet her. So he's like, all right, but you can't like act like you know me, because I could get in big trouble. And I was like, okay. So he's like, I'm gonna be at this elevator at this gate at this time. And I literally like went to that same elevator, and sure enough, they like walked up, and it was like I was so nervous, and we walked into the elevator, and I was on the phone with my mom to kind of help calm my nerves. And then I was like, okay, bye. I got off the phone real quick, and I looked at Alanis in the elevator, and I was so bad. I was like, oh, you're Alanis Morissette, right? And her boyfriend at the time, he was like covering her. So he was like making it so that I couldn't see her. And then I had to like kind of wait until he moved for a second. And then I was like, oh, that was like my shot. And she was just like, yeah. She just like responded. She was very soft spoken. And I was like, oh, I love your music. And then she said, thank you. And then like, just like that, like the elevator doors opened and she was out. And I was like, oh, like that was my moment.
That split second moment.
Yeah. And I had like my
really
camera. Yeah, I remember having like my camera in my purse and being like, hopefully I can get a picture with her, but it didn't happen. It was just way too quick. But she seems very soft spoken, which is so interesting because she's a powerhouse on stage.
I think so many of those artists that are so just extrovert on the stage, if you meet them off stage, I think so many of them really are a lot quieter than you would expect them to be on stage. I find that a lot. It's just in being around different musicians in the industry. When I would meet them after having the recordings for years, thinking that's who they are off stage. It's right. Interesting.
Yeah, so, that is.
Yeah.
What label do you work for?
For Warner Brothers.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. For actually the family, the Warner Music Group. So all the labels, Warner, Elektra, Atlantic, and she was,
wow.
with the label at that time that came out. So that's
really cool.
Yeah. So it's been a fun ride in the music industry for many years. It's been a lot of fun. So
yeah, I bet.
Any songs coming up in the near future here? New songs that you have? This song that could take things. You could really, the platform of the song and the melody and the dance beat, the remix, all the things. This could really take you on a ride for a long time. But I'm sure you're always thinking of the next song and the next song and the next song after that. So what's happening right now?
Definitely, I'm working on my EP in the studio right now. So that's going to be released next year. Also working on getting some tour dates and hitting the road on a tour, multiple tours, and just really just trying to keep going, you know, like you said, thinking of the next thing and just really trying to keep on going.
Well, I have no doubt that you don't stay still very long, that you're always working on something and you always have a project in the, you know, in the making. And it's very exciting to see. What's the best way that people can learn more about your career and about what you're currently doing right now? Where's the best place for them to start?
Well, they can follow me on Facebook or Instagram at official NEDY, and it's official NEDY, NEDY. I don't know if you're gonna have it written down, but just in case. And then my website's officialnetty.com. I'm on YouTube, official NEDY, Twitter, Deezer, Spotify, Apple Music. But yeah, follow me, connect with me on Facebook, Instagram, any of those platforms, and send me a message. You know, if you guys are going through something and just want to talk to somebody, or maybe you know someone that's going through being bullied. I just want to be a friend and be able to tell you that you're not alone, and to remind you that you're special and that just keep on fighting that good fight.
It's an amazing infectious spirit that you carry with you as you go to help people, because, you know, as someone who knows exactly what it's like to be bullied, having gone, you know, and it's like there are people out there who think that they're completely alone, and to know that there's a network of people and individual people that are willing to, that have walked that walk and have gotten through it, and to show that there's light on the other side of some of the darker times in life where you don't see that light. There is a light shining at the end that people are willing to help pull you out of, because they've been through it themselves.
Exactly. Thank you. Yeah, I think we all really we need help. You know, we need someone to tell us it's going to be okay. So yeah, thanks a lot, Kevin. I appreciate it.
Well, I thank you for your time today. I thank you so much. And to our future viewers, please take the time to check out the different websites and the different platforms that NEDY has mentioned, and you will not be disappointed. You will not be disappointed. I promise you. So thank you so much.
I appreciate you.
Thank you. And best of success as you move forward.
Thank you.